people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? Because I knew you. I have been changed for good.
It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before I've heard so much of me, is maybe what I've learned from you, you'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have written one by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind of the sea, like a sea drop of skybird in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you,
Because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
and just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for.
But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a comet rolls through the sharpest as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you,
Because I knew you,
because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
Welcome. All right. Welcome to Holston Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. I am Rosemary, your service leader this morning. Today's service topic touches on our imperative for human connection, support, and love. Our opening hymn invites us to join together in a place of compassion. It's hymn number 1053, which is in your teal hymnal, the smaller one. How could anyone? I ask that you rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 1053. How could anyone?
Our friend Aisha from Smiles Closet reminded me this morning, who's got a table back here, that May is Foster Care Awareness Month. So this service is a very good way to lead into next month. So I want to share a short story about a set of siblings that entered into the foster care system. It was a cold day in February. There were 3 children playing outside, unsupervised, because their parents weren't home. It was an older brother and his younger brother and sister, who were twins. While playing, the younger brother falls into a cold creek, and at the direction of the older brother, goes back to their trailer to get dry clothes so he could come back to play. Upon arriving, the younger brother discovers a deputy there to serve papers on their father. The deputy rounds up the 3 children, who spend the next couple of days in a foster home. The older brother, in this case, struggled to know how to provide solace to the younger brother crying himself to sleep at night. It was a very scary and unpredictable situation. Thankfully, the 3 siblings' older sister, the firstborn, is given physical and legal custody just a few days after they entered custody. Fast forward 10 months later, and the older sister is now losing her custody of the children, and they will be split up and placed back into foster care. In a last-minute effort to not separate the 3 children, their church helps them to be accepted at a Christian nonprofit that provides a home, church, and education. All 3 of these children remain at the school until they graduate high school. No one in their bio family ever gets legal or physical custody of the children. As you've probably already deduced, this brief story is my story. I am the older brother to the twins and the younger sibling to the older sister. In this story, which I can promise you is the Cliff Notes version. Text me if you want the full story. I wrote a blog about it. I have a personal history with the foster care system, and I know firsthand what it's like to be ripped away from your family. However, for the last 3 years, with the lovely ladies in the blue shirts over here, I've been gaining professional experience and history with the foster care system as a clinical therapist who works exclusively with children in the foster care system. I've earned my license in professional counseling while working with traumatized children in this system, and it has been a privilege and an honor to do so. This system is complex, complicated, and sometimes very depressing. However, this work can also be rewarding and awe-inspiring due to the resilient nature of the children that we witness every day in our work. We've worked hard to make today's service very informative, positive, and inspiring. It's my hope that you leave here inspired in some way to get involved with one of the local foster care agencies like Camelot or Youth Villages, or to check out Smiles Closet as a way to get involved. Please see any of us in the blue shirts after the service or after the Q&A for other ways to get involved. With that being said, I want to put my therapy hat on, and if you will join me, this is a heavy subject as we're kind of coming out of the gate with. I want to teach you guys a belly breathing technique from EMDR, which is a trauma therapy. So place one hand here, one hand on your belly, and I'll invite you to close your eyes if you want to. And let's all take one big deep breath in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Again, welcome to Holston Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. If you are with us on the internet, or if you're with us sitting here in the chairs around me, we are one community, united in our commitment to each other and our commitment to live out our principles in the world. Please silence your cell phones. Observe the perfume-free zone, is this wedge here. And based on community trends, we are at low risk level, and as such, masking is optional. We support everyone who chooses to mask. It's okay if you need to or want to. We continue to offer the color-coded wristbands at the entrance so that you can indicate your distancing needs. Green, give me all the hugs, I'll take them. And red is keep your distance, I'm not comfortable with physical interaction. And yellow is ask. It's always good to ask. Today, as you know, we have representatives here from some of our local foster care agencies and support networks to participate in a panel discussion about foster care needs in our community and ways we can help. I was very interested in hosting this one myself because for some of you who were at a service last year where I told you all about my guilt, my feeling of guilt, when I was a teenager, I just fully assumed that I would be a foster parent for all sorts of kids with special needs. And so that was always something in my head that I would do, and I'm not there yet. So I'm very interested in this topic. And also, I was in foster care for a year. I was an at-risk medical needs baby that they didn't know I'd survive, so they didn't want to adopt me out until, okay, she's good enough. And so I didn't get my permanent family until I was a year old. So I had, I think, 3 foster families that I went through as an infant. I don't remember it, but that's part of my story as well. So I'm grateful that there were people to take care of me. And since this topic is so incredibly broad and there's so much information, we are also hosting a talkback session immediately after the service today, where you can come, we're gonna come forward and it'll be, we'll bring chairs around and you could ask any questions that were not answered in the panel today. You could come and ask your questions and our panelists will answer, and you can go away with all sorts of great information and hear some more. For our chalice lighting, these are the words of Fred Rogers. Most of us know him as Mr. Rogers from the neighborhood. We need to share responsibility. It's easy to say, it's not my child, not my community, not my problem. Then there are those who see the need and respond. I consider those people my heroes. Ours is not a perfect community. We are wonderful and messy, a work in progress that earnestly tries hard to get it right. On behalf of this congregation, if you are here for the first time seeking a spiritual home or a safe space of inquiry, you are welcome. If you are looking for acceptance, I welcome you. To the familiar faces I've come to know and love, I welcome you. In all of our beautiful diversity and experience, education, stage on our journey, our origins, our sexuality, our age, our gender, I welcome all of us and you. I value who you are and what you bring. Our musical gift today, Gymnosian, number 1, is a piece written by talented pianist James Shawcross. It is inspired by the works of French composer Eric Satie, specifically his first Nocien and Gymnopédie. A simple, haunting chord progression supports a delicate melody and creates a peaceful mood. May this original instrumental piece create a space in your heart and minds to receive the panel discussion topic coming up. Please sit back, recharge, and enjoy. So this is like the Tonight Show, and I'm your Johnny Carson, for those of you old enough to know who that is, but I'm not funny. So this is Johnny Carson, but I'm not funny.
Percent honest, I have no idea who that is.
I see, it's Johnny Carson talk show, old talk show.
Jacob. You have to Google that.
I think I'm a little out of my league.
Oh, my feelings are hurt.
Hello and welcome, and if anybody wants to change seats to be able to see our panelists better, feel free. Can you please introduce yourselves and tell us the agency you work for and in what roles? Go ahead.
Sure. I am Jacob Meadows. I am the foster parent, trainer, and recruiter for Youth Villages.
Okay, I'm Catherine Leonard with Camelot in the Northeast region.
And I am Becky Rollins. I'm also with Camelot in the Northeast region.
Kathy and Becky, what do you do there?
We are both recruiter trainers for the Northeast region.
So, I have been hearing for many months now that there is an urgent need in our community for good foster homes. Jacob, that is why, part of why you initially reached out to this community in the fall. He did a cold call to our office looking if he could come speak. And so let's grab this bull by the horns, and what does it mean? What does it mean to be a foster parent, and what do foster parents do?
Absolutely, yeah. I'd like to thank you, actually. You were the only person to respond to my calls, so I really do appreciate that. So yeah, first of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about, there is a huge need for foster families in, especially in Tennessee. At any given time, we have about 8,000 kids across the state who are in foster care, and only about half of those children are actually in a foster home. They're either in a group facility or something of that nature. So Tennessee has a need right now for foster homes, especially for teens and sibling groups. We serve a lot of that group. There's a need to help those youth in foster care that also age out of the system, when they turn 18. On the second part of that question, what do foster parents do? Ultimately, our goal, with youth villages, is to help children in foster care find permanency either with their biological parent, and we call that reunification, or that we find a permanent home with a foster family or an adoptive home. And so the foster families do that by providing a stable and safe home for the youth. And, since many of the children that we serve come from unstable environments, it's that stability that we're really after. To put it simply, being a foster parent means you are fulfilling the role of a caregiver for a child that's in need. They ensure a child receives their basic needs and more. A foster parent ensures that they attend school and receives medical care. You ensure that children receive guidance and always finds time to have fun and simply delight in them.
Okay. Yeah.
Based on what Jacob said, basically that is what we do. We also provide our license through the state, which is a temporary care for the child that is removed from the home due to the parent or the guardian's abuse, neglect, or inability to provide adequate care for that child. Foster parents have various responsibilities. They provide nurturing and support in which the child's emotional, physical, social needs can be met, while their issues and concerns can be addressed in various ways, such as medical, in-home counseling, and therapy.
Thank you. Who can qualify to be a foster parent?
Camelot will accept anyone over 21 years old, as long as they can financially meet their own needs without the stipend that Camelot does provide a foster parent in order for placement. They have to be, in significant health and can pass the background checks. They are required to do such trainings to be completed, the paperwork needed, as well as participate in the Tennessee Key class that we provide that training for free.
And so for youth villages, very similar to Camelot, we welcome those who are willing and able to be a foster parent, who are at least 25 years or older. We have both state and agency eligibility requirements that, of course, we use their guidelines. We welcome couples, we welcome people who are single, we welcome people of the LGBTQ community, and we welcome retirees. We have no age cap.
So does Camelot.
Is there anything that you want to say?
As far as foster parents go, the way to qualify is just to be a willing participant in the lives of a child that you don't know.
Okay, thank you. This is I'm throwing an extra question. We're in a church that's a little bit unusual for Northeast Tennessee. So what about the religion of a foster parent versus the religion of the family that the child comes from? What's the role of the foster parent when these are not the same? What are the rules?
Sure, I can go. So, youth villages, we welcome people of all different, cultural backgrounds, faiths, your religious beliefs. We are very tolerant of that. When it comes to our children, it is possible that they will have a different, religious background than you. So really all we ask is your compassion and your understanding and, agreeing that, they may have different beliefs than you. And as long as you can coexist, then we're in a good place.
Camelot has the ability to try and find that religion for that child within the foster parents they already have.
Okay.
if, say a child is Baptist and that's what the parents want, then Camelot will work to find a foster family that goes to a church of that similar nature for that child.
And during, the certification process, we do a lot of digging into your background, of course, but we also talk about your preferences and things like that. And so we do what we can to match a kid.
Yes.
Just like Camelot, we try our best to get you a child that at least has an understanding of your religious beliefs.
And Camelot has had that happen before recently. We had a child that came into custody, and the foster parent was not willing to work around that child's religious beliefs. So we came in as a team, a clinical team, and decided what is in the best interest of that child, because moving a child is not in the best interest because of the regression. When you move a child, it takes about 6 months to build that back up. So what we did is we compromised, we talked through it, got the foster family involved, got the child involved, and we actually worked through that in a very positive way, which was really kind of scary for us because we did not know what to do, because that had never came up in all of our years of handling it. But the foster parents were really, really willing to work with that child and that child's beliefs. So it worked out very well.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. What supports, so somebody decides they want to try to be a foster parent or a foster family, what supports or resources are available once a foster child ends up in that family's home? What support do they get as a foster parent?
Once a child is placed in a Camelot home, we have several assessments that we will complete in order to determine the resources and support to that particular child, bio family and foster family will need. We have in-home counselors, medication management, therapy. Also, we utilize outside resources. The in-home counselor will assist the foster parent with the knowledge and the ability to get the resources and supports each child will need.
Absolutely. And so youth villages, our children that we serve, they're assigned a counselor who provides in-home therapeutic interventions throughout, their time as a foster child, and that will be throughout the entire process. We understand that this is a big ask, and, we understand that it's going to come with new experiences. So in addition to having a counselor in the home, we also have a 24-hour crisis service that you can utilize if anything happens. It's all day, every day of the week. We provide an in-depth training course to get you certified, which helps prepare you for what is to come. And we provide a mentor program that utilizes what we call veteran foster families to provide support to the new ones as they come in and get adjusted.
How long is the training? If somebody was curious and wanted to start, say, next week, how long would it take before all of the assessments and training and they're ready for a child? How long?
It depends on the child. We can expedite a lot of the trainings now with the new Tennessee Key classes that have come in. So we can expedite it to be a month and a half. Wow. The longest, I think, all of us will agree, I think, is the background check. That the fingerprints are the longest that usually it takes, but the classes and stuff can be expedited. So we can usually do it within 1 to 3 months, depending on the child. And if it's a child specific, we can go even quicker than that.
Same for youth villages. Our classes are about 6 to 8 weeks. And we offer some expedited classes too, which I'm glad you mentioned that. But that's the standard, 6 to 8 weeks. Out-of-state background checks are
absolutely
those can add some time.
Yes, yeah.
Some have 3-month turnarounds to get those back.
That is so true.
Average, we usually get you done pretty quickly.
Okay, that's quicker than I had imagined in my mind.
Right.
And fun fact, we actually have a class starting next week. If you are interested.
Hint, hint, hint.
Hint, hint, hint.
Ours starts Monday. No, I'm just kidding.
Ours starts Tuesday.
So kidding.
Darn it.
I'm so kidding.
So let me just point out that these are two different agencies, but you're not really in competition.
No, we're besties.
Yeah, we partner a lot with different things.
We do.
Because this whole job, if we didn't, then we'd just be tearing each other down the whole time.
Yeah. And ultimately, we are here for the same reasons. It's for the children.
Exactly.
And if it is not good for us, we will totally recommend another agency to accommodate that family, because ultimately, we're definitely not selfish, but we do want what is best for the child, irregardless of the agency that they go to. It doesn't matter.
Good, thank you.
And, Camelot, they'll accept people that are 21, whereas Youth Villages, we prefer 25. So, sometimes we'll get younger applicants, and, I'll do exactly that. You're like, we can't work with you, but these people can. We send them right on over.
Nice. Okay, it's a little bit of a sensitive question, but I think it's practical. What reimbursement do foster parents receive for the care they provide a child?
You go ahead.
Sure. So Youth Villages, we provide what we like to think is a competitive per diem to reimburse families. And I would like to say that it is a reimbursement. It's not a paycheck or anything like that. It is simply reimbursing you for the time and the money that we expect you to spend on a kid. And we do that to, reimburse you for your efforts and all of your expenses. The amount varies, and it's based on the child and their needs. We have different levels, and so that will impact how much you get reimbursed each month.
That's exactly with Camelot. Our children come in as a level 1, 2, and 3 based on those initial assessments, as Jacob had said. And so DCS is the original placement provider because we all subcontract out with DCS. So DCS will offer a child as an intake, and going over that intake packet as a placement person would. That determines what level that child is placed in your home. And based on that level is what your per diem is. So like Jacob said, it's a reimbursement. You don't pay taxes on it, and then after 6 months, you can actually, claim the child on your taxes as well for having that child in your home. So it's a lot of opportunities just based on not the financial need, because we don't want anyone doing it for the money, but there is a positivity of helping and assisting with that child in your home financially, because it is expensive to have children in your home.
Okay. Thank you. What will a foster child, okay, I know this is a loaded question, but what will the foster child be like? Okay, now I'm funny.
It'll be like popcorn.
It is.
I tried to be prepared for this question, but it really is. Like, it's so hard to tell. Like, with Youth Villages, we serve boys and girls of all ages, from infants to teenagers. We have children from all different cultural backgrounds. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, the majority of the children we serve are, teenagers or sibling groups. But we serve children who come from environments where they have suffered trauma and instability, and they've been through quite a lot in their lives. They need love, they need compassion, and they need that stability to help them kind of bounce back, is what we like to say, to recover from those traumatic experiences in their life. We work to help match the kid or the youth or children, however many, with each family based off of your preferences and the assessments that we do throughout the process. We provide a counselor, and that helps you, gives you support during that process. And I'd like to say that fostering teens specifically, it can help them transition a lot into being successful adults, just having you to kind of help guide them. And that, is a pivotal moment in their life, and they really do need someone who's stable to help them do that.
We agree. Jacob does a very good job with speaking about that, because it is true. No child is the same, just as no adult is the same, no animal is the same. And I think based on the assessments, based on what their trauma is how, as a foster parent, you need to treat that child. And you'll have resources, you'll have help, just as Youth Villages does. They have in-home workers that come into your home on a weekly basis to assist you with that child and with the transition for other children in the home. So even if you have bio children, we all have the same agency requirements that allows an in-home worker to come into the home and assist with the transition, resources, educational needs, medical, mental needs, everything. It's a wonderful, wonderful program that we all have.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. This congregation is a welcoming congregation. Jacob, I know that this is part of why you wanted to come speak here, and I've actually seen your posts on Facebook specifically looking for people who are supportive, or families who are accepting and supportive of LGBTQ children. Can you speak a little bit about this need here in this region?
Yeah, absolutely. And so when it comes to children who identify as LGBTQ+, they are often much underserved than, a child who doesn't. They will face more adversities, more hardships, things of that nature in their life. And ultimately, as they age out of the system, those just get worse, consistently. And so, I personally wanted to kind of reach out to organizations, such as this church, who show that they are welcoming to children who identify as LGBTQ, because, those resources are few and far between. And we believe that, it just takes one caring adult to make a difference in a child's life. And if we can find those people, then we're in a good spot.
Oh, thank you.
We agree.
This is great.
I know. I love Jacob. I've actually offered him a job at Camelot.
But, part of my job as a recruiter, is I have to try to find every demographic, every, served community. And, whenever I took the job, I knew that I was going to be different and I was going to start hitting these places hard. And so I'm glad I was able to reach out to you.
Mm-hmm. Great. For those of us, the reality is I knew that when Jacob reached out and I was working with John to set up this service, that the likelihood that any of us in this room are going to join their training next week is probably very small. But this is a very big-hearted group. And I know you're all thinking, I can't be a foster parent, at least not right now, but how can I help? What can I do to support the kids in care or the families? So what is out there? What are the resources that we can help to foster your foster programs?
And Rosemary, you did a wonderful job investigating and advocating for this, because there are a lot of resources out there, such as the Smile Closet. It's a nonprofit organization focused on needs of foster children as well as foster families, kinship, and at-risk families. The representative, Aisha Ward, is here, and the information you can take from her, point
Wave.
over there.
That's
Aisha, you should be up here too. April donation requests are for new hygiene items, new and gently used infant clothing. Remember that sometimes kids are placed in homes, they come with absolutely nothing. And it's really sad because our foster parents are reimbursed, so you don't get paid until the following month or the day of the month. And a lot of these children have absolutely nothing because these bio parents are not going to give up, their stuff. It's just not possible. So places like this is such a wonderful asset to us. Some of the other suggestions that we have through Tennessee Support Foster Families, KinCentralTennessee.com. Groups can sponsor special events such as holiday parties. They offer to support Tennessee foster parent associations. They provide items needed to support a kinship or foster placement, such as beds, cribs, clothing, shoes, socks is such a welcome to some of these places. To become a volunteer or facilitator at the visitation sites, you can become a mentor, coach, or tutor through a structured, DCS-approved established entity, organization, or congregation like youth villages or Camelot.
And I would like to say, if you have, particularly any old luggage or anything, that is also a great thing to donate to.
Bags and stuff like that,
We
yeah.
give those to children so that they can transport their belongings to each home. That way, it helps not have to put them in a bag or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard about the plastic bags and
Yes.
Trash bags.
the trash bags and how dehumanizing that is.
Yeah, Walmart bags, like
Yeah.
5 Walmart bags coming through. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good point though, Jacob.
So I want to point out that on your order of service, on the back of your order of service, a lot of these resources that we're talking about and Smile Closet, the links are on there, and also on the YouTube video of this service at the end. We'll remind you to look at the text below the video, and all of these will be linked. Lots of resources in this area that we can all help as we feel able, and as the Spirit moves us to help. Lots of information is on the YouTube link and our order of service. So. Okay, we do hear, I don't want to sugarcoat this, but we hear really negative stories about kids in foster care and the system. And it stokes fears. What is the real truth?
Well, the truth varies from story to story and, case to case. Some cases do have negative stories and some do not. In order to be a foster parent, you need to pray. Understand the system that you will be dealing with and know that the agency will protect you the best to their ability. Okay? No case will be perfect. And that's the real truth. There's nothing will be perfect. But with the supports and the resources of each agency, you should have a wonderful and loving story to tell.
I like that. So, the truth is, this is a big ask. And, fostering, it doesn't come without its difficulties. For a child who may have been neglected or abused, the love and security a foster family provides is crucial. It only takes one caring adult to make a difference that will change the course of a child's life and help set them on the path for their future. We serve children who have experienced hardships and traumas that truly we may never understand, we may never know. And so foster families must be patient, and you must be prepared for behaviors and beliefs that they may have encountered before in their experiences. It will not always be easy, but it can be fulfilling and it can be an adventure if you let it.
Okay. I know that I'm getting close to the end of my time permitted. We could do a whole Saturday just on this. So I've really asked a hard thing of our guests to, hey, how do we whittle just the basics down to get maybe your appetite whet. So I want to thank each of you for coming and giving up your Sunday morning to be here to talk to us and our online community. And one last thing I kind of want to leave with is, if any of the kids in your care or with your services could tell us something about themselves, what do you think a couple of your kids might want us to know about them?
I know for a lot, because Becky and I've been there 16 years. I've heard, and I've been in different variation of positions. The one thing that children will say, and I think Jacob will agree, they just want somebody to love them unconditionally. Despite anything, they want what every other kid has. They want a family and they want just to be loved.
Yes.
Because they know that, going to court and being in a foster family, they know that that's not normal.
Exactly.
And so, they really do just want to feel like any other kid. They want you to know their name and to know what their interests are. They want you to know, what foods they like, what their favorite meal is, things like that.
And to have a special bedroom. That is the best. I mean, it makes me cry, because a lot of these foster parents don't realize how special a comforter is, or posters on your wall. And these kids don't have that. And to be a foster parent, as part of your stipend, Camelot does require you to do as much as you can to make that child as normal as possible, including his room, his book bag. Some of these kids come in with nothing like that. So we do expect a lot, but, make that child feel the best he can be.
And the children want someone to be proud of them.
Yes.
For the small things that they do.
And play sports.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And do gymnastics.
Yeah, they want to do the normal things.
Yes. Lord, and like Rosemary said, we could talk about this all day, but I know we can't. But thank you for everybody for your time on this subject. We really appreciate it. All of us do.
Thank you. And again, there's resources on the tables, there's resources online and on your order of service, and we'll have the talk back immediately after our closing hymn. We'll be here to answer questions that I didn't think of, or I wasn't funny enough to think of. So
you did a great job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sweetie. I guess we get that. Do we sit down?
Getting my exercise today. So you all step into the community bringing all that you are, as well as being asked to hold the weight of our topic today. Both your joys and your concerns are valid. Your burdens are honored here. We share our moments of joys and sorrows with each other through using these candle cards For those who come, again, they're in the back, and you could fill out a candle card, and you have an opportunity to check whether you want it spoken out loud, or if it's just private for the minister or our caring team. If you have a caring item, a joy or concern, you can also email our Reverend Tiffany at minister@hvuuc.org with the words candle card in the subject line. This is being, again, you check whether you want it read out loud because it's being broadcast. And I have a few cards that I want to read, a few thoughts. So we have a candle of concern for Eli and all of the students and teachers of Robinson Middle School. This week, an 8th grader who was a close friend of Eli's ended his life. We grieve with them. We hold our kids and each other close. Please send them love in whatever way that you do. We are holding gratitude for all those who have been called to serve as foster parents, past and present and future, as they may not always get the recognition for the safety they offer kids in crisis. We honor case managers, counselors, and other support staff, like our speakers today. We hear how hard it is and how often it is a thankless job. And we know that sometimes you are the only stability in a child's life. And we also want to light a candle in support and love for all youth who are in the foster care system. If you wish to light your own candle, you can go around the back and form a line up this side wall. If you're on this side, you can go through this door and through the hallway to get there. John, who is a member of the Social Justice Committee and leader of the Multiculturalism Book Discussion Group, will assist the process. If you wish for us to light a candle for you, please raise your hand until I acknowledge you, and at the end, we will light a candle for you. And now, we light a candle for you who are not in the building, but are ever in our hearts and minds. light a final candle for all that remains unspoken in our hearts and minds. And stay close. For the chalice extinguishing, this is not to share my Catholic guilt with you. This is not a guilt trip. I thought this was very interesting and well said, and it was by somebody anonymous. And most of us here who might be in a position to foster probably question the timing. We question our suitability. I can't possibly be the right person, or my work is too hard. That's mine, and work is crazy. We question how we could juggle this with all our other responsibilities. We think, I don't have my act together. Few of us feel we are ready. Consider, too, that no child is ready to be in foster care. I have some business. We thank you for being with us today, and I want to go over the business. First, I want to thank Cindy and Ray for the donation of these gorgeous flowers. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So, we have a very practical service coming up next week, April 23rd, in which service is the service. This is our church home, and its buildings and grounds need loving care. Leaders guide us in work groups, indoor and out, to accomplish as much as we can in service to the physical needs of this church. So dress comfortably, even slobby if you want to, and be ready to roll up your sleeves. Your actions will have an immediate impact on the health of this beloved church campus. So the nursery care will still be available for people with young children. And again, there will be activities, helpful activities, both indoors and out. So our annual meeting, let me start that again. Our annual meeting is in 2 weeks, April 30th, right after the service. This is important. It's our only annual gathering where our members vote on our board nominees and our budget for the coming year. So it's very important for voting members. Please make an effort to be there as best you can. There are considerations for those people who still need to or feel the most comfortable being distanced. So we'll have extra space pushed out for those who need more space. So I've already said many times that there's recommended resources related to foster care and how to help in many ways, as well as recommended video links. I know John had sent me a just killer video, rehomed, and it was too long and just too difficult to get the rights to be able to play it today, but there's a QR code right in your service order of service. So if you have time at some point this week, yes, it's in there. We're modern now. So that was recommended, and a few other videos recommended. So take some time this week and give it a look, a watch. Okay, and for our benediction, John?
The documentary, or it's a YouTube movie, it's called Removed, actually. And
Sorry.
I want to preface that with trigger warning, okay? If you go and watch Removed on YouTube, it's heavy. So bring some tissues, probably a whole box. It gets me every time we use it in training. It's a tough one, but it's very reflective of what these kids are experiencing, if you want to know what it's like. So, an open letter to foster parents. No matter their age, all youth in foster care need a meaningful connection to a caring adult who becomes a supportive and lasting presence in their lives. Without families or stable relationships, too many of these formerly neglected and/or abused children and teens will end up facing life's challenges all alone. Thank you for holding their hand.
Life is a dance, often joyful, sometimes frenetic, sometimes even mournful. The dances within families are as diverse as the many ways that families can be formed or defined. So our closing hymn for this month is hymn Let It Be a Dance, number 311 in your gray, the larger hymnal. And this is also when we will pass the offering plate. The contributions that you make to us during the offering supports the ways that we build each other up within this community, and also gives us the resources we need to stretch out into the wider world and make a positive impact. If you are making a pledge payment, please mark it on your check as such. And thank you so much for your contributions. And let me remind you one last time that, again, immediately after this hymn, we will have a talkback session right here. We'll just say, bring a chair up, and our panelists will come back up, and Aisha will be here. And any questions you want to ask or you want to hear more about, please stay. Coffee hour will be extended so that you can still grab a cup of coffee after the talkback. So now please rise in body or spirit for this month's closing hymn, Let It Be a Dance.